Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back after your lunch, and we are in Virtual Agro Technology Extension 2021, live from Jabatan Pertanian Malaysia, from Putrajaya. Actually, I'm also located here today at the 16th floor in Wisma Thani, di Putrajaya. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to the growers who are with us today. Thank you so much to the service provider, ThinTech Group Sdn Bhd, virtuallife.my. And thank you again to Jabatan Pertanian Malaysia for this wonderful event, which organized by the entire team of Jabatan Pertanian. It is not alone for Putrajaya, it is not for Kuala Lumpur, it is for the whole nation, Sabah, Sarawak, Johor, up to Perlis. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move to the next speaker, and I must tell this technology is from Netherlands, and this technology is not now, it is not new, it is more than 54 years old. Started by a cucumber farmer in Netherlands to avoid using pesticide, to avoid using chemical spray. And Netherlands was moving at that time, I'm talking about 54 years ago. The farmer found a way how to eradicate the pest using biological control. And they succeeded. And this is a very nice farmer by the name of Mr. Koppert. He distributed to his friends because only one reason. A farmer's health is very important. If farmer's health is not good, then they defeat the purpose to go into the business of farming. The first important thing is the safety of the farmers. And Koppert has come out with a strategy to slowly eliminate chemical spray in the farm. And they succeeded. More than 113 countries using this technology. Ladies and gentlemen, not one country, two countries, 113 over countries using this. And I must thank Jabatan Pertanian, our former Ketua Pengarah, Dato' Haji Nasir, and also the former chairman of the National Advisory Agriculture Council, Tan Sri Abdul Rahman, who put the effort to bring and support ABS to bring this technology to Malaysia. And for your information, the speaker today who's going to speak with you is one of the pioneer involved together at that time with Tan Sri Abdul Rahman and also with Dato' Haji Nasir, really studied what happened in 113 over countries. Why can't Malaysia adopt this technology? So with that, the speaker today, he embarked on this journey not now, from year 2014, and is one of the rare IPM strategists. IPM stands for Integrated Pest Management, and is one of the rare person who has the complete knowledge in using biological control, not chemical spray, biological control in the farming. And ladies and gentlemen, currently is attached to Green Heart Farms, Sdn Bhd in Cameron Island, who is fully using integrated pest management using biological control. He is engineer by profession. He was holding a good position in ABB Power, a foreign company, MNC, as an engineer, but he gave up the job, come into farming and bring this technology together, and is growing with the knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, let's, from our heart, bottom of our heart, let's welcome Mr. Shawn Wong Ping, the IPM specialist and IPM strategist in Malaysia. Hi, Mr. Shawn.
Hi, Mr. Ravi. Thank you, Mr. Ravi, for your introduction.
All right, Mr. Shawn, the growers, the younger generation, and also the senior farmers are waiting to hear from you. The floor is yours. Please take on.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Ravi. I would like to start my presentation with a video. Okay. All right. Nice.
This is the story of how a Dutchman and his son turned a headache into a world-leading business. In the 1960s, cucumber grower Jan Koppert started suffering from headaches and allergies. He realized that they were caused by the chemical pesticides he was using, the same pesticides that had become ineffective against spider mites. So he and his son Peter set out to discover a natural alternative, the predatory mite. It really worked, improving both Jan's crops and his health. Word spread, and soon his biological control and pollination products were saving other Dutch growers time, money, and a lot of headaches. Over the next few decades, the world accelerated. More consumers wanting more and the best of everything. Supermarkets demanded secure, safe, and cheap production fast. Koppert continued to study and research nature, finding natural solutions that helped growers all over the world to meet these new demands. Soon, Koppert Biological Systems became a world leader in biological control and natural pollination, as well as an expert in sustainable growing, resulting in healthier crops and soils. At Koppert, our work helps growers increase production and reduce environmental impact, producing safer, healthier food that can feed more people. There's still a lot to improve, many mouths to feed and health issues to address, but we can't think of a better cause to dedicate our work to. Koppert Biological Systems contributes to better health of people and the planet in partnership with nature. Koppert Biological Systems, partners with nature.
All right, so welcome back. My name here is Shawn. I'm the IPM strategist for Greenhouse Farms. So let's talk about IPM in Malaysia. I believe IPM is not a old or something new to growers in Malaysia, but just like something like big data, a lot of people talk about it, but actually how many people knows about it? So let's go into these two things, organic growing and conventional growing. In IPM, we try to get all the benefits from both sides of growing, from organic and from conventional growing. From organic growing, the benefits is we have a healthy produce, good for the environment. The not so good side for organic growing maybe is the scales of economics. So you cannot achieve a big area in one go. Whereas for conventional growing, it's more benefits for commercially more viable. And I would say IPM will combine these both benefits and put it into one. So biological pest and disease management, like what I said, this is not something new. It has been used for over the world, used in Japan, Korea, Holland, US, and so on. So it has been successfully adopted by many countries. Yeah, even countries like Vietnam is already start using IPM, I think around 10 years ago. And Malaysia is already started, which is something which is, I mean, the biological control will be the future. So at least we are on the right path now. So what is biological control? A lot of growers, when they have pest issues, the first thing they think of is going for chemical spray. You know, this is actually not the right way to do things. We should always start with the basic or the base of IPM, which is cultural control. So what is cultural control? Cultural control is like how we prune our trees, the way we manage our plants, how many flowers do we keep. This is all cultural. So from culture itself, we can already eliminate a lot of problems from the plant itself. Then after that, we move forward to the next control is called physical control. Physical control is like yellow stickers that we're using. Greenhouses also is part of the physical control. So we use this kind of tools to help us to bring out the use of chemicals. In fact, the effectiveness of physical control is tremendous because it is always there 24/7. And the next thing that we go into is biological control. Now what we're using now is you use insects to target the pest. Then only we go for biopesticide and chemical control if the below controls are not be able to do anything to the pest. So why we do biological control? First of all, is the competency in trading. When you start to use biocontrol, your crops will be healthier and you have pesticide-free produce, which enables you to go overseas. You can export your goods, and in fact, more markets are now demanding for pesticide-free produce across the globe. Second benefits we're having is sustainable production. As we know, chemicals disrupt the ecosystems. The more chemical you use, the higher resistance the pest is going to be towards the pesticides. I believe growers in Malaysia will experience that when they use a certain kind of chemicals, after some time, this chemical no longer work for them. Same goes to our household pests as well. You know, the bacon spray or the reset spray that we're using, now we have to use more to kill the insects at home. The third benefits that why we are using biocontrol is the economical advantages. We are talking about increasing in yield. Imagine when you can use biocontrol products in your farm, you can introduce pollinators as well. For tomatoes, easily you have 30% non-pollinated fruits. That goes to waste. You cannot sell those tomatoes. So once you can introduce pollinators such as bees, this will increase your yield through that way. Second thing is, if you always spray chemical to your plants, the plants also will suffer a lot of stress. The phytotoxicity from the chemical is going to weaken the plant's health. So they will have weakened I would call that defense systems, so they get sick easily. And the last one is the social responsibility. So we want to have a good future. We want to leave a safe environment to our next generation and not kill the environment now for the benefits of our dollar sign. So what is biological control? So what kind of biological control that we can have in Malaysia? First thing is parasitism. Parasitism is a kind of insect that will go on the pest and they lay eggs on the pest. Then it will hatch from the pest. Second is predation. Something like mites, they will go around and they will eat the prey. And the third kind of biocontrol is through beneficial fungi, such as Beauveria bassiana, Metarhizium. Is all beneficial fungi which will grow on the pest. These are all three major biocontrol that we can have. So you might be thinking, is there any economical values, benefits if we use biological control? So I give you an example of South Korea through a 7 years data. As you can see on the red bar, it is 100% chemical grower. And on the orange bar, it is biological control grower. Throughout the 7 years, you can see the chemical growers have almost the same yield. And the cost is almost the same. Whereas for biological control growers, you can see their yield increasing from year to year. Of course, as you can see, the cost of biocontrol in the beginning is very high. The reason behind it is because you need certain experience to be able to pick up the introduction of biocontrol, the implementation of biocontrol in your farm. The whole concept is very different from using a chemical. For chemical grower, just give you an example, for chemical growing, probably you need to spray 3 times a week to be able to control the pest. Whereas for biological control, probably one cycle you just need maybe 3 to 4 introductions to be able to maintain the pest population. So added value on biological control growers, you can see it increases year to year, whereas the chemical growers, their income remains the same. And as far as we know, chemicals nowadays is also increasing in price. So if we don't change ourselves in the near future, biological control, is gonna take over the market easily. So these are the statistics from South Korea. Currently, in Malaysia, we are at maybe on the first, on the second year of biological control introduction. So we are managed to maintain the yield, or I can say our yield is comparatively slightly better than chemical growers. Of course, it's not significantly better yet because we are still in the first and second year of introduction. We are still taking the learning path in Malaysia. So this is an example of Netherlands from 1975 to 1995. They successfully convert the whole nation into integrated control. Showing this slide is to let all the Malaysians know that changing to IPM is possible. And this is case in Spain. In 7 years, they reached 100% implementation of IPM. Of course, partly is due to the export regulation because most of their produce goes to Germany, and Germany stopped importing produce which contains chemical. This will also happen in Malaysia in the near future. Singapore has started to control our produce quite intensively. So we need to start to do something about it. What are the challenges of IPM in Malaysia? Well, IPM is never an easy thing to implement, so farmers view it as something which is hard to implement and slow in impact. Second thing is the lack of support and the know-how to implement the biological control. And the third thing is the IPM tools, the biocontrol, the physical cards, and so on, is not widely available in Malaysia. And the fourth one is, the biological control obtainability. So that's where we come in. We have a team which are very experienced in growing in Malaysia. We have high record breaking kilos per meter square yield in Malaysia. And our team also knows about climate control greenhouses. We build climate control greenhouses, and we do smart irrigations. And we partner with Koppert Biological Systems, which is the world leader in biological control pest management. For Koppert, they are more than 50 years in the world, and we are doing direct consulting, and we have technical support, and we are the only company which holds the import permit. These are some of the insects that we are having in Malaysia, some of the biological controls. We have Swarovski, Californicus, Phytocillus, and Cassia. Of course, another 4 is also on the way. We are doing some testing and trial to be able to have a better control towards the pests in Malaysia. So talking about Koppert Biological Systems, they are founded in 1967. They have more than 50 species, and they are the world leader, and they are present in 130 countries. So this is their state-of-the-art facility in Holland, their growing room. So why do we work together with them? So this is because they have the best quality products in the world. Because when it comes to biocontrol, you don't want to bring in insects or bring in pests, especially from overseas, and bring into your farm and release in your farm. And also Koppert products are certified by audits on the phytosanitary and veterinary as well. So nature always has a solution. We must always partner with the nature. That's all for my slide. So I will show you some of the videos from the farm in Malaysia. So this is a chili crop, 100% IPM control without any chemical pesticides. So these are the sachets that we introduced in a strawberry farm in Cameron Highland as well. So these are the insects that we are releasing. This is called Aureus, a predator for thrips. So this is how it looks like. So these are chili crops. These are nematodes that we use to control thrips and also seed flies and fungus gnats. In our farm, we can put in bees. These are the beehives that we have. Because we don't spray any chemicals, as you know, bees are very sensitive to chemical. We want to increase the rate of pollination so that we can have a better quality products. So again, this is our chili plot, which use 100% biological control. Right, so that's all from my side. Any question from the ground?
Wonderful, Mr. Shawn. Thank you for your wonderful sharing today. And I believe some of them will be in a shocking state in the mind, looking at the biological control is working in Malaysia, even though it is a second year, Mr. Shawn. So maybe on the behalf of the growers who are viewing with us today, what are the key challenges, as you mentioned just now, faced by the farmers, and how you can resolve it, Mr. Shawn, through your organization?
One of the key problems that the growers that facing is they don't know how to utilize the use of chemicals, or how to say utilize the use of pest control products. I would say so-called physical control, biocontrol, and chemical control. So you need a very good SOP for all these things. Not to say that when you use biocontrol, you cannot use chemical at all. There are compatible chemicals that you can be used. So we work together closely with Syngenta, Avancia, and so on to make sure that the SOP that given is compatible with the biological controls.
All right. There is a question, Mr. Shawn, from Miss Noor Sharwani Binti alias. Question, using IPM, let's say on chili, how many percentage the effectiveness, and also using what organism?
Okay, so for IPM on chili, which also I'm be working on in Cameron Highlands and in Lodging Highlands, the success rate that we currently having is, I think, success in control, I would say is more than 90%. Of course, there are still some hotspots like aphids, which comes in. I need to be able to tackle it. But the effectiveness is very good in a way that because we don't need to actively spray to kill the pest, the biocontrol will be there. They will breed themselves. Then they will search and destroy themselves. So I would say it's very effective. And what kind of organism I'm using? I'm using Swarovski as a general predator, and also I'm using Aphidius colomani to target the aphids, and also I'm using Aureus to target the thrips, and also Cyanonema. All biocontrol have to work hand in hand. There's no silver bullet that you can just have one product then you can handle the whole pest issue.
That is why it is known as integrated pest management.
Yeah, that's why it's called integrated pest management. So physical control is part of it as well, like yellow sticker. Those are very important. So the second question I see here is how effective is the implementation of IPM on open farm setting
farm
control compared to a control environment? Okay, I get this question a lot. Whether can you do it on a open farm or not? The question, the simple answer will be yes and no. Yes, being say that it can be done, but the scale of control has to be big. It's just like if you're going to a indoor warfare, I will call it a war. If you go to an indoor war, you need only small weapons or limited numbers of soldiers to go inside. Whereas if you're going outdoor, there are a lot of outside pressures, like the weather, the pests from the neighboring farms. So you need to have a stronger force behind it to be able to control. One of the things that you need to do is we must have a huge area. For example, in Australia, they successfully use biocontrol outdoor for their cabbages. But then they do it in a 30-hectare area. So the force is big, then they can control it. Another reason why why the success rate in greenhouse is higher than outdoor is also because greenhouse also it serves as a physical control. You can control the disease better. Imagine your plants is always wet, so you have secondary problems, botrytis, powdery mildew, and so on and so forth. You want to avoid that because you want to reduce the number of spraying. So with the greenhouse, you can be able to bring down the spray, so the biocontrol will be easier to develop there as well. I hope that answers your question.
And I think the other question also similar. You already answered that. Then there is another question, Padma Devi. Grass chili PLT. Okay, so the question almost the same on outdoor and environment.
So
Padma Devi, effectiveness in greenhouse for many planting cycle.
Okay, to answer that,
Sorry.
Yeah, we are continuously doing the same crop in the same greenhouse, and so far we don't have any problem with that. That's one of the benefits of using biocontrol. We don't use crop rotation in our greenhouse, so we'll be using the same thing over and over in the same greenhouse. So far, there's no issue from our side.
Muttalagu Kandan. Next question, sir. Ginger farm, any biocontrol can suggest?
Okay, before I can suggest any biocontrol, we first need to study what kind of issues you have in your farm. Because even though the same crop, everyone will be facing different kind of problems. So we need to sit down and study what kind of pests that you are having. Then from there, we'll approach your problem.
And for those who are here with us in Virtual Agro Technology Extension 2021, don't forget to visit the booth, exhibition booth, to understand more. And for information, Mr. Shawn is attached with Green Art Farms in Cameron Island. Please do get in touch through the Department of Agriculture. And thank you so much, Mr. Shawn. And there is one more question before we wrap up the session from Mr. Chan Hong Hui. Does under biology control, do it meet mutant genetic variant resistance?
Okay, this is also a question being asked when we bring in the biological control. So before we can bring in the biological control from Holland, because all the products coming in from Holland, so we order, then they have to ship in, and they'll fly in all the way. This is one of the issues or one of the concern by the department, whether this thing will mutate or not. The thing is, the biocontrol that we're using is widely available in the world, so it's not something very rare. In fact, those specialists or those non-native or very special kind of biocontrol we do not bring into Malaysia. And all the products that we're bringing goes through strict testing, like host specificity test by the biosecurity, they approve, then only we can bring it into Malaysia. In fact, the ones that we're having in Malaysia has been used around the globe to target the common pest issue, such as by flies, aphids, and thrips. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, Mr. Shawn. And also for the viewers, Malaysia has already embarked on biological control. Even though we are a bit slow, it's okay, but we never left out. And thanks to Green Art Farm in Cameron Island, who actually has taken the risk to move forward and to introduce this biological control. And I've personally invited the former KP Dato' Haji Nasir, who came to the farm last year, 14th of September. We're supposed to have an engagement event to bring the participants there, but due to COVID-19, we are unable to do that. Hopefully, very soon you can have, you can see Mr. Shawn in action in Green Art Farm, where you can have the feeling of biological control. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a big, big thanks to Mr. Shawn for willingly share his experience in his journey on integrated pest management implementation in Malaysia. One big shabas, congratulations to Mr. Shawn. I know his journey is not easy. He started in 2014 and now we are in 2021 with all the challenges. He invested money, invested time, and we can see the benefit. And it is a big achievement for Malaysia, even though we are still new on the starting line. We will complete the race with the support of Ministry of Agriculture, with the support of Department of Agriculture. Integrated pest management will be a big success in Malaysia in a near future. That is for sure. Once again, on behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to thank Mr. Shawn for the wonderful input. And for the viewers, please ensure to visit the meeting room in the exhibition booth. Thanks, Mr. Shawn.
Thank you.